Hello, my name is Putkonen. This is the second installment of my series here. After enlightenment, there is still pain. There's this ongoing myth, or at least hope, that after enlightenment, all forms of pain will disappear. I've even seen some people ask on Quora or elsewhere, if pain doesn't disappear from life, what's the point of enlightenment? And the point is not to have no pain. It is to cease creating suffering for oneself. It is to cease making yourself miserable. That is the point. And so, what about pain? Well, pain serves a fundamental needed function. And it's to alert us of damage of the body. If you got a cut, say on your foot, and you didn't feel any pain whatsoever, this would be no different than, say, a diabetic or a leper or someone else with a neurological disease that has totally lost feeling of their extremities. And when they get a cut, they don't realize that they were cut or burned or whatever is the case. They didn't feel the injury. And so the injury goes untreated, and it, I don't know how often it is, but you hear of cases all the time where the wound festers, becomes septic, or whatever they say. Basically, there's gangrene, and then you have to amputate the limb. And so if you felt no pain whatsoever, you're going to find you're probably going to be losing limbs through amputation as you get injuries, and you just don't feel it. The point is not to feel no pain. The point is to not have a problem with pain. If there's a cut, like a few weeks ago, or I was in a car accident, and I still got a little bit of a scar. Looks like it might turn into a scar, but I was cut some abrasions on the arms and on the leg, and I had a really large scab on the leg, and this was all from the force of the hit and the airbags going off. And it hurt, obviously. Putting on pants and, doing things, trying not to pull off your own scabs as you're putting on clothes or taking off clothes and that kind of thing. It was going to hurt. It didn't hurt that much. A lot of times when there is pain and we're trying to escape the pain, it makes the pain feel all the worse. The pain, the sense of hurting increases because of the trying to escape or get rid of the pain. But in totally accepting the injuries, it's like, yes, I got this abrasion, I've got these cuts, and you just totally accept the pain. It's not that bad. It's not like I've never had injuries after enlightenment. It's kind of funny how people go, well, how do you deal with this stuff then? Because it's like I was working with wood. I've got a lathe. I was doing I think I was building a rolling pin at the time, and so I was drilling this piece of walnut through, and I did something dumb. I pushed on it in such a way that a 1/2-inch drill bit went in my hand. You can probably see the scar, the circle with the squiggle line. That's the Fostner bit that went into the hand. Chewed it up like hamburger. And yeah, there's pain. But it wasn't resisted. It wasn't fought against. It wasn't trying to be avoided or ran away from. I wasn't trying to get rid of the pain. There was no thought, there shouldn't be pain. No, it was totally embraced, accepted. Yes, it hurt. What can I do about it? Went to the clinic, took an aspirin, did other things. but you do what you can without trying to escape or get rid of it. And that's the difference, is after enlightenment, you're embracing pain. If it arises, you're embracing it, you're accepting it. You're not trying to escape it or repress it or get rid of it. You know that it is an alert that the body's been damaged. It's quite natural. And so you do what you can. And this comes down to even something simple like a headache or a sore throat. If there's pain, you feel the pain. That's what's going on. And then you might go get an aspirin or take a cough medicine or something that might ease the symptoms. It's not like you can't do anything about the pain. You can always take a painkiller or some other remedy. But if you can't do anything at all about it, well, then you're just with it. You're just with the pain for as long as it is. I had injured the shoulder at one point, and it was sore and kind of hurt every day for weeks before it got better. And because it was fully accepted, not resisted, not denied, it often didn't pop up in terms of it didn't hurt unless my attention was on it. Throughout the day I could move around and there might be a dull pain, but the dull pain really didn't matter. It was, it was there, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And then if I bent my arm a certain way or I was picking up something, the sting might be more so. And so the dull pain was always there, and the sting would only happen if I was doing something. But this was just the body alerting me, hey, something's wrong here. And when you move the arm like that or you pick up a weight, something could have been torn, and the body was just going, don't do that. If you do that, you're going to hurt it worse. And you gotta just accept this stuff. After a couple months of letting the shoulder go, I started using a dumbbell, doing side press, really light. It was like 15, 20 pounds. Something that is almost embarrassing considering I used to do a side press with 75 pounds. And here I am doing it with 15, 20 pounds because I had injured the shoulder, and I have to slowly build up the muscles to support everything again. Because it was injured, and then I didn't want to use it, and I didn't use it for so long. There was muscle atrophy. The muscles just started losing strength, and that made it worse. And after it kind of healed, not too bad, you slowly start adding weight to it again. In a way, that's kind of what physical therapy does. After surgeries or whatever, physical therapy makes you do certain motions or exercises with a light weight, even though it hurts, even though there's pain, because that's what helps you get the range of motion and the strength back in that part of the limb. And so, that I've had countless injuries after enlightenment. There's the hand, there's the shoulder, there's the car accident, there's, I've got some other, scars I could probably find that I've gotten. I did a fire walk last year and severely burnt one toe. And it took a couple months for that to heal. And, this is part of the adventure. You get some scrapes, you get some cuts, you might get some burns, and then you just accept it, you embrace it, you live with it without trying to resist, deny, escape, get rid of it, or otherwise, do stuff like that. Because that effort, that intention of it should not be, and trying to say no and reject it or escape it, just makes it feel all the worse. And that is what that is what suffering is. That additional hurt that's beyond the nerves is suffering. Kind of like when someone says, don't look or it'll hurt more. The hurting before you look comes from the nerves of the body. It's pain. The hurting more after you look is totally imagined. It's made up in the mind. That is suffering. And the whole point is not to make ourselves hurt more or sustain or maintain the hurt. We take an injury and then say every time a similar situation arises, there's fear, anxiety, or reliving what happened. If I'm working with wood, I'm not thinking about the drill bit in the hand anymore. I can work with drill bits with no fear. The car accident didn't traumatize me and make me fearful of driving, because what if I was to get in a car accident again? That prior injury isn't coloring all future experience, all future happenings of life. I'm not carrying like baggage the past around like that. And that too is suffering, because if you did something, say, kind of foolish, like take a drill bit to the hand because you weren't doing something appropriately, like you shouldn't be shoving something onto a drill bit in such a way that it pops through and goes into your hand. I'm not beating myself up. I'm not using that as a basis to make the belief or claim that I'm stupid or incomplete in some way, because how could you do something like this? There must be something wrong with me. And this is what so many people do, is they take the stuff that happens and they create additional stories out of it. And then in the future, they've got their stories based on this past experience, and they just keep reliving and rehashing past injuries upon themselves. And that's what trauma is you're just reliving and rehashing past stuff over and over and over again. And so enlightenment makes suffering and the past fall away. That stuff no longer has the same bearing and effect on the present. You're no longer creating misery and suffering for yourself based on what happens in the now. That stuff falls away. But it's the nature of the body to become injured. It bumps into something hard, it's going to bruise or scrape. It bumps into something sharp, it's going to be cut or pierced. That's just the nature of the body. The body is very susceptible to damage. And I would never dream or hope to never feel pain again. That's the wrong hope. Because pain serves a purpose. It keeps you from having festering wounds that turn gangrenous that need to be amputated later. You need to know these wounds exist. And in order to know that they exist, there's pain. So don't resist pain. Embrace pain. Accept pain. Say yes to pain. If it's there, it's there. Accept it, because it already is. So it cannot be escaped, because it already is. That which already is cannot be escaped. I think I sufficiently covered this topic of after enlightenment, there's still pain. And then we'll see where we go in the next episode. But if you get any questions, comments, please post below. Also, if there's anything that you're wondering about, does this, that, or the other thing exist after enlightenment, post below as well, and I'll consider those comments in the future videos. But until next time, thank you much.